Well, it's getting that way, and it's time now for something that's a little bit more challenging. The 747 Classic by Felis in Explain 12. Now, of course, talking about this one. And the thing about the 747 Classic is it's got an engineer's station, and it's not just a monster in size, but it's a monster in terms of how much is involved in flying this. Now, there's so many procedures that come with this aircraft that we're going to have to skip through. We're going to have to boil it down to the very bare essentials, like we've been doing with the others. The only difference this time is we've got no automation to help us out, unlike the others. You know, on the others, there's a few little things that happen in the background that help you out, you know. APUs and bleeds and whatnot getting automatically controlled by the Airbus and so on. Not the case with this thing. The old Classic is different in the newer 74-8. This is the -2, the Classic. Most obvious thing from the outside that give it away, you've got the much smaller hump at the top versus the newer ones. And the engines in terms of size, you can see, are quite a bit smaller than the new bigger, more powerful ones. That said, these things still guzzle a load of fuel. For those not familiar with the zombie escape mission, there's a horde of zombies getting onto the airfield. We're going to have to use a bit of imagination there, and we need to get from stand up in the air and across the bay towards Oakland as quickly as possible. We'll run the stopwatch to do that. We're allowed no cheats whatsoever, no easy options anywhere, so it's real time on the alignment and all of that. No assistance whatsoever from any of the ground crew, so we've got to pretend that they're either run away or they've become part of the zombie horde or whatever it is. In other words, it's just you and a cold and dark aircraft. In this case, it's just us and the cold and dark aircraft. Don't ask us how we get inside without any assistance. Maybe we just rolled some stairs up against the door. We've kicked them away with our foot or whatever it is. Either way, we're on the aircraft here. If you want to know where we are, here's San Francisco. And as with all of these, we're picking the maintenance stand that's up here at, I guess that's United Airlines maintenance stand. It happens to be close to 10 left, and again, you don't really want to be starting at the gate because you don't want to have to use pushback. I mean, you can reverse to push back, but again, we're starting from here. So we're going to see how quick we can do this, and the timer starts before we hit the very first button. Now, thankfully, this aircraft requires no setup, and what I mean by that is if we come into the options here, I'll just get rid of the music there. There's no passengers in from the off, which, you know, we don't really care about. But there is some fuel. Look at this. Currently, we've got 103,000 pounds of fuel on the aircraft by default. In other words, this thing's ready to go. In addition, if we come over to the ground menu, there are no chocks by default. There's no ground power unit. There's no nothing. And so this aircraft, as we spawn into the cockpit, if you like, from the menu, from the explain menu, is ready to do this. And so without further ado, let's make a start. And again, like we said, we got the engineers panel over here, and this is where it starts. You know, as we walk in, the first things we got to do is from the engineers panel out. Starting this up as a single, you know, person, you're basically going to be stood here, I imagine, because you're going to have to be leaning over here and then over here again. It'd be a teamwork normally, wouldn't it? But if you had to do it by yourself, of course, we have got our views to help us do that. And so without any more further waffle, I hope that makes sense. Let's see how fast we can do it. And starting in 3, 2, 1. There's the timer. There's the first second. Let's go. So battery on. Standby power. APU on. Wait for the door to open. And there we have it. Hit the starter. And I don't know, because I've never tried, if Felis has simulated, you know, does it make a difference if you put load on the APU without waiting? As we've seen, none of the aircraft as of yet, it doesn't seem to matter. Does it matter if you don't wait for the engines to warm up properly? So we see massive demand there on the Generator bleed air on. That's coming up 1, 2, 1, 2. We'll put the pack on just a little bit, but we're not really going to be needing it. Trim air. All right, coming down here then. Fuel switches 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nothing in the center tank 1, 2. Coming to the front. Up top, what we got here. Masters 1, 2. Gonna have to go straight to ATT because there's no time to align. Start a switch.
Ready to start the engines.
Get the light, nav.
Ready for engine start.
Logo. Right, come back over here. Get rid of the center pack. Come back over here. Let's start engine 3.
Starting engine 3. Start valve open.
Sounds good. There we can see 3 rising. And this aircraft is single engine start until you've got 1 engine running. Then with the 1 engine and the APU, you can do multi-engine after that.
%, and 2.
Alright, fuel going in.
Fuel on. Light up. Starter off.
Alright, let's go for 2.
Starting engine 2. Starter valve open. Engine stabilized.
Engine 4.
Starting engine 4. Starter valve open.
Let's release parking brake.
Parking brake released.
Shame this thing ain't aligning. We're going to have to rely on
20% and 2.
our independence. Fueling on
Fuel
2.
on.
I'm not even going to try moving this until we've got
Light up.
power on.
Starter off.
Engine 1.
20% and 2. Starter valve open.
Fueling number 4.
Fuel on. Engine stabilized. Light up. Starter off.
Gens 4, 3, 2. 4, 3, 2.
Engine stabilized.
Are we on engine 1?
20% and 2.
Fuel going in.
Fuel on. Light up.
Close the tie.
Off.
APU bleed off. Close it on 1. Close the tie.
Engine stabilized.
Turn that on. Let's go. So it's taken us 3 minutes 40 some seconds to even start moving. Flaps 1, 5, 10. That'll do because we're going to be very light. No idea on the speed, so we're going to have to bit of differential braking there. So to help us steer, anti-skid on, body gear steering, we'll get that. Start us off. Continuous. Get some of the lights on, not really essential, but we're on the way to the runway, why not? Probe heat's on, and we're too task saturated to do anything else. Quick check back here. Pack are off, bleeds are on. Let's go. We're gonna have to ignore the takeoff warning. Down here, get that onto EPAs. Let's get the auto throttle on.
Thrust set.
Anything else here? Stall warning there, we're going to have to ignore. That's going to do it. Up we go. Wheels up.
Gear up.
Engines back to continuous. Flaps 5.
Flaps 5. Gears up.
I think we're going to get across there quite quick, you know. Flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
Flaps up.
Flaps up.
Right, we'll get the packs on. 1, 2, 3. Supplementaries. Trim air's already on. APU will stop that. Cargo heat, not that we've got any. Keep an eye on where we're going. We're shifting. Wow, listen to that airflow. There's that navy boat there to the right. Let's get the window heat on. Come on, I can't get that one. The old side will have to suffer. I think it's okay. And look at that, we're already at Oakland here. Let's get rid of the auto throttle. Was it paused? Or was it the fog? Oh. I actually thought the game was paused there. It didn't look like the sea was moving. I guess it was like glass. Alright, here we are. Dumping the boards. I just realised I never got rid of body gear steering for takeoff. Never mind. Auto brake max. See the boards are out just. There's something wrong with my ailerons there. They don't seem to be moving. I'm not sure what that's to do with. Alright, starting to put the flaps down.
Flaps 5.
That must be something that got missed during the whole thing. Alright, we'll arm the spoilers.
Gear down.
And turn to final. See, this is what I like about Boeings that you can't do in the Airbus. You can go beyond the safety margins. I know you can override the, what they call it, normal law and alternate law. You can override it in the Airbus, but it's by default in the Boeings. And granted, 99.9% of the time you're never going to do that, but there's that one time where you got to get rid of zombies that you just want to be able to go push the aircraft right to the end of the envelope and then some.
Flaps 20.
Right, so I'm not going to go for a flaps full landing. I will go stick with flaps 25 because you get a whole bunch of extra lift between flaps 25 and flaps 30. I don't know where it comes from, but it's a massive bunch of lift. And when you're heavy and whatnot, you know, that's great. But for now, we'll just float forever if we go flaps 30. Alright, coming in to land, and it has taken us over 10 minutes
50,
to get to the runway.
30, 20, 10.
Bit of a floater anyway. This is that stall sign. Reverse is out. Look at that speed melt off there with us being as light as we are. Idle reverse. Stow the reversers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oakland. 10 minutes, 31 seconds after our first button push at San Francisco International. That's going to be it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed the mini-series so far. Do check out the other aircraft if you've not done so already. The Boeing 747 Classic, 10 minutes 31. San Fran to Oakland. Although, that said, from the first switch to actually getting in the air was really quick in this one. And so, yeah, a lot